Story 1. I started working as a mall janitor about 6 months ago. It's not what I planned for my life, but sometimes things don't go according to plan. I used to be an accountant before my company downsized, and at 43 years old with a mortgage and 2 kids in college, I couldn't afford to be picky about work. The janitorial job came with benefits and steady hours, so I took it. My wife keeps telling me not to be ashamed, that honest work is honest work. But some days are harder than others. Some days people look right through you like you're invisible. And some days, people make sure you know exactly how they see you. It was a busy Saturday afternoon, and the mall was packed with weekend shoppers. I was mopping near the food court entrance because some kid had knocked over a soda earlier. I always put up the yellow warning signs, all 4 of them in a square around my work area. Safety is drilled into us during training. The last thing I need is someone slipping and getting hurt. I was almost finished when I heard the clicking of heels. Fast, impatient clicking. I looked up and saw her coming, designer shopping bags in both hands, phone wedged between her ear and shoulder, completely ignoring the bright yellow signs that said, "Caution, wet floor," in both English and Spanish. She walked right through my work area. Not around it, through it. I tried to move the mop out of her way, but the movement caused a tiny bit of water to splash. We're talking maybe a few drops that landed near her shoes. Not on them, near them. She stopped dead in her tracks. Excuse me? Excuse me. I turned around, mop still in hand. Me, I'm sorry, ma'am. I tried to move out of your way. The floor is clearly marked as wet. You got water on my shoes? Do you have any idea how much these cost? I looked down at her shoes. They were completely dry. Me, ma'am, I don't think any water actually hit your shoes, but I apologize if... Don't tell me what happened to my shoes. I felt it. People were starting to stare. The food court was full of families eating lunch, and they'd all stopped to watch. Me, I really am sorry. Is there anything I can do to help? You can buy me a new pair of shoes. These are designer. They're worth more than you make in a month. My face got hot. She said it loud enough for everyone to hear. Loud enough to make sure everyone knew she thought she was better than me. Me, ma'am, I'm just trying to do my job. There are warning signs posted all around this area. I'm going to need to finish cleaning so no one slips. You're going to need to finish? You're going to need to? She walked over to my janitor's cart where my bucket of dirty mop water sat. Before I could process what was happening, she grabbed the bucket with both hands and dumped the entire thing over the cart. Dirty water went everywhere, all over my supplies, my cleaning chemicals, my personal water bottle, my jacket that I'd left on the cart. There. Now you have more to clean. How about that? I just stood there in shock. 5 gallons of dirty water were now spreading across the floor, creating an actual hazard. My cart was dripping, and I could see my phone, my only phone, the one I need to get calls from my kids, sitting in a puddle. Me, why would you do that? Maybe next time you'll watch where you're splashing. Maybe next time you'll... That's when her heel hit the puddle she just created. Her feet went out from under her, and she went down hard, landing directly on her designer purse. The sound echoed through the food court. The fall must have knocked the wind out of her because she lay there for a second, gasping. Then the screaming started. Lawsuit. I'm suing. I'm suing them all. I'm suing you. She was pointing at me from the ground, her phone now cracked beside her, shopping bags scattered everywhere. Me, ma'am, you need to stay still. You might be hurt. Let me call for help. Don't you touch me. Everyone saw this. You assaulted me. You made the floor wet on purpose. That's when I noticed at least a dozen phones pointed in our direction. People had been recording the whole thing from the moment she dumped the bucket to her spectacular fall. Random woman. Lady, we all saw you dump that bucket yourself. Teenage kid. Yeah, this is wild. I got the whole thing on video. Security arrived within minutes. 2 guards I knew pretty well, Marcus and Jennifer, rushed over. Marcus helped the woman up while Jennifer came to check on me. Jennifer, what happened here? Before I could answer, the woman started yelling again. He splashed water on my designer shoes. Then when I complained, he made the floor dangerously wet on purpose so I'd fall. I'm suing everyone. The mall, him, all of you. Marcus, ma'am, let's just calm down and… Don't tell me to calm down. I have witnesses. Teenager, actually. Yeah, we do have witnesses. Check this out. He turned his phone around, showing the security guards his video. You could clearly see the woman dumping the bucket, then slipping in the puddle she created. Jennifer watched it twice. Jennifer, ma'am, this video shows you dumping the cleaning supplies and then slipping in the water you created. That's not he edited it. That's fake. Random woman, I recorded it too. Same thing. Old man, I saw the whole thing. She dumped it herself. Mom with kids, she was being horrible to him before that, too. We all heard it. The woman's face went from red to purple. She started grabbing for people's phones, demanding they delete the videos. Marcus had to physically step between her and the teenager. Marcus, ma'am, you need to come with us to the security office. I'm the victim here. I'm calling my lawyer. I'm calling the police. Jennifer, you're welcome to call whoever you'd like from our office. Sir, are you okay? I nodded, even though I wasn't really. My hands were shaking. My phone was probably ruined. But I was okay. The guards escorted her away, still screaming about lawsuits. The crowd slowly dispersed, though several people came up to make sure I was all right. The teenager airdropped me his video without me even asking. Teenager, just in case you need it. Man, that was messed up. Me, thank you. Really. By Monday morning, the video was everywhere. Mall Karen throws mop bucket was trending. There were news articles, reaction videos, even a statement from the mall company condemning her behavior. My manager called me into his office, and my stomach dropped. I thought I was in trouble somehow. Manager, I just wanted to check on you, and to let you know that woman has been banned from all our properties nationwide. We're also covering the cost of replacing your phone and anything else that was damaged. Me, thank you. I really appreciate that. Manager, nobody should be treated that way at work. Nobody. The video never really went away. Every few months it resurfaces and goes viral all over again. My kids think it's hilarious. My wife still gets mad when she sees it. Me? I'm just glad I kept my cool. Sometimes that's all you can do. Story 2. I'm a flight attendant for a major airline. I've been doing this job for 8 years now, so I thought I'd seen everything. Drunk passengers, people trying to smoke in the bathroom, couples joining the Mile High Club, you name it. But what happened on Flight 2847 from Dallas to Seattle last month topped everything. I got into this career right after college because I love the idea of traveling and meeting new people. Most days, it's actually pretty great. Sure, the hours are long and the pay could be better, but I genuinely enjoy helping people and making their flights comfortable. My mom always said I had the patience of a saint. After this flight, I'm starting to believe her. We were about 45 minutes into a 3-hour flight. The seatbelt sign had just turned off, and I was preparing the beverage cart with my colleague Marcus when we heard shouting from row 12. Karen, this is unacceptable, unacceptable. I grabbed Marcus's arm, and we both headed down the aisle. A woman in her late 30s was standing in the aisle, holding a cat carrier. I recognized her from boarding. She'd made a big deal about her emotional support animal paperwork, insisting we verify every page twice. Me, ma'am, is everything all right? Karen, no, everything is not all right. Muffin is overstimulated. The engine noise is too loud, and the cabin pressure is affecting her delicate system. I looked at the cat carrier. The cat inside appeared to be sleeping peacefully. Me, your cat looks fine, ma'am. Please return to your seat and place the carrier under the seat in front of you as required. Karen, fine, fine. How dare you? I know my cat. She's having a panic attack. I need to speak to the pilot immediately. Marcus, ma'am, the pilot is flying the plane. Please sit down. Karen, then you need to tell him to turn this plane around right now. We need to land immediately. Muffin needs to get off this plane. The passengers around her were starting to stare. A businessman across the aisle rolled his eyes. A mother with 2 kids looked worried. Me, ma'am, we're not turning the plane around. Your cat is fine. Please take your seat. Karen, I have rights. Muffin is my emotional support animal. She's registered. You have to accommodate her needs. She pulled out her phone and started recording me. Karen, I'm documenting this abuse. You're discriminating against me and my emotional support animal. This is a violation of federal law. Marcus leaned over and whispered to me that he'd get the head flight attendant. I tried to stay calm. Me, ma'am, you need to put your phone away and sit down. You're disrupting the flight. Karen, I'll sit down when you tell the pilot to land this plane. Muffin is in distress. I looked at the cat again. It had opened one eye, looked annoyed at the noise, and gone back to sleep. Other passenger, lady, your cat is literally sleeping. Sit down. Karen, don't you tell me what to do. You don't understand the bond between me and my animal. She's sensitive. Our head flight attendant, Patricia, arrived. Patricia has been flying for 25 years and takes absolutely no nonsense from anyone. She's like the grandmother everyone wishes they had, sweet but firm. Patricia, ma'am, I'm going to ask you one time to return to your seat and put your phone away. If you refuse, you'll be met by security when we land in Seattle. Karen, I want to speak to the pilot, right now. Patricia, that's not going to happen. Karen, then I'm calling the airline. I'm calling my lawyer. I'm calling the news. Everyone needs to know how you're treating me and my emotional support animal. She was frantically trying to dial on her phone while juggling the cat carrier. That's when Muffin woke up and let out a loud, annoyed meow. Even the cat was done with this situation. Patricia, give me your phone. Karen, absolutely not. Patricia, you have 2 choices. Hand me your phone for the remainder of the flight, or we'll have the pilot radio ahead and have law enforcement waiting at the gate. Your choice. Karen, you can't take my phone. That's theft. Patricia, it's not theft. It's confiscation of a device being used to disrupt flight operations. You'll get it back when we land. Karen looked around like she expected other passengers to back her up. Instead, everyone was either glaring at her or deliberately looking away. Karen, fine, but I'm reporting all of you. You'll all lose your jobs. She shoved her phone at Patricia with such force that Patricia had to take a step back. Patricia calmly took the phone and headed to the galley. I gestured for the woman to sit down. Karen, this isn't over. I know people, important people. She finally sat down, clutching the cat carrier to her chest. Muffin meowed again, clearly wanting to be left alone. For the next 2 hours, she sat there in furious silence. Every time Marcus or I walked past her row, she'd glare at us. She tried to get other passengers to take photos or videos for her, but everyone refused. The businessman across from her even put on noise-canceling headphones and closed his eyes. About an hour before landing, she pressed her call button. Me, yes, ma'am. Karen, I need my phone back. I have important calls to make. Me, you'll get it back when we land. Karen, what if there's an emergency? What if someone needs to reach me? Me, if there's an emergency, the airline can contact you through our communication system. She huffed and crossed her arms. Muffin had been peacefully sleeping the entire time. When we finally landed in Seattle, Patricia returned her phone. The woman snatched it and immediately started typing furiously. As passengers deplaned, several of them stopped to thank us for handling the situation. Businessman, thanks for not letting her ruin the flight for everyone else. Mother with kids, my kids were nervous enough about flying. Thank you for keeping things calm. Karen was one of the last to deplane, still muttering about lawsuits and complaints. As she walked past me, she made one final declaration. Karen, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. I just smiled politely. Patricia, have a wonderful day, ma'am. After everyone was off, the three of us started preparing the cabin for the next flight. Marcus started laughing. Marcus, did that really just happen? Patricia, I've had people demand we land for dumber reasons. Once had a guy insist we turn around because he forgot his lucky tie. Me, did the airline hear from her lawyer? Patricia, oh, she filed a complaint, all right. Corporate reviewed the incident report and the statements from other passengers. They sent her a letter saying her behavior was unacceptable and that if she causes any more disruptions, she'll be banned from flying with us. Apparently, she tried posting about it on social media, claiming we'd abused her and her cat. But several passengers from the flight found her post and commented with the truth. Her post got ratioed so badly she deleted it. The best part, 2 weeks later, I ran into the businessman from that flight at the airport. He recognized me and bought me a coffee. He said watching us handle that situation professionally made him feel safer flying. That's why I love this job. Most people are reasonable and kind. It's just the entitled ones who make the news. Story 3. I've been living in this neighborhood for about 5 years now. After my divorce, I needed a fresh start somewhere affordable, and this little subdivision seemed perfect. The houses are close together, everyone's friendly enough, and it's quiet. I work from home doing freelance graphic design, which means I'm around during the day when most people are at their jobs. I've always tried to be a good neighbor. I water my elderly neighbor's plants when she's visiting her daughter. I keep my lawn neat, and I mind my own business. But apparently, not everyone appreciates having someone home during the day. It started about 3 months ago. I ordered some art supplies for a client project, nothing expensive, just some specialty paper and markers. The tracking said it was delivered, but when I checked my porch, nothing was there. I figured maybe the driver made a mistake or delivered it to the wrong address. I contacted the company and they sent a replacement. Then it happened again. A book I ordered for my nephew's birthday. Tracking said delivered, but my porch was empty. Then a pair of running shoes. Then some printer ink. Each time, I'd file a report with the delivery company, get a replacement or refund, and chalk it up to bad luck. Maybe we had a porch pirate in the neighborhood. My next-door neighbor mentioned she was having the same problem. So was the guy across the street. We started a group chat to warn each other about deliveries and keep an eye out for suspicious vehicles. That's when I decided to install a doorbell camera. They weren't that expensive, and I figured it might catch whoever was stealing our packages. I installed it on a Tuesday morning and didn't think much about it. That Friday, I got a notification that a package had been delivered. I was in the middle of a video call with a client, so I couldn't run to the door immediately. About 20 minutes later, I got another notification motion detected on my porch. I pulled up the app on my phone and watched the live feed. A woman was standing on my porch, picking up my package. At first, I thought maybe she was a neighbor doing me a favor, bringing it inside or something. But then she turned around and I got a clear view of her face. It was the woman from 3 doors down. I'd seen her around but never really talked to her. She always seemed kind of intense, the type who'd complain about your grass being a 1/4 inch too long or your trash cans being out an hour past collection time. I watched as she walked away with my package, straight to her own house. My stomach dropped. I immediately went back through my saved footage from the past week and found 3 more instances of her taking packages from my porch. Clear as day, in broad daylight, just walking up and taking them like she had every right to. I called the police non-emergency line and filed a report. They said they'd send an officer over. While I waited, I checked the neighborhood group chat and mentioned what I'd found. Turns out, several other neighbors had also recently installed cameras. Within an hour, we had compiled footage of this woman stealing packages from at least 6 different houses over the past 2 months. The police officer arrived and reviewed my footage. He looked annoyed but not surprised. "Officer, do you know this person?" "Me. She lives 3 houses down. I don't know her name, but I can show you which house." "Officer, we'll go have a conversation with her. Can you send me these videos?" I sent him everything I had. He walked down the street and knocked on her door. I couldn't help myself. I watched from my window. She answered, and even from a distance, I could see her getting animated, waving her hands around. About 10 minutes later, the officer came back to my house with her following behind him. She was carrying an entire plastic storage bin filled with packages. "Officer, do any of these belong to you?" I looked through the bin. At least 7 of my missing packages were in there, along with dozens that belonged to other neighbors. Some had been opened, some hadn't. But here's the weird part: she'd relabeled several of them with a label maker. My art supplies had a little tag that said, "Karen's Protection Program item secured." Me, what is this? Karen's Protection Program. She actually looked proud. Her, I was preventing theft. Porch pirates are everywhere. I was keeping everyone's packages safe. Officer, by stealing them? Her, I wasn't stealing. I was protecting the neighborhood. Someone has to take responsibility around here. Me, you opened some of these, and you never told anyone you were protecting them. Her, I was conducting inventory, and I was going to tell people eventually. I was waiting until I had a proper system set up. Officer, ma'am, this is theft. Multiple counts. These people filed police reports and insurance claims because of you. Her, I was doing everyone a favor. This is how I get thanked. I should be getting an award from the neighborhood association. The officer looked like he was trying very hard to stay professional. Officer, you don't see any problem with taking other people's property without permission. Her, it's not taking if I was going to give it back. I had a whole spreadsheet. Do you want to see my spreadsheet? I cataloged everything by address and date received. She actually pulled out her phone and tried to show him a spreadsheet. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She'd literally created a database of stolen packages and thought this proved she wasn't stealing. Officer, ma'am, having a spreadsheet doesn't make it legal. You took property that didn't belong to you. Multiple people filed police reports. You cost them time and money. Her, oh, so I try to help, and this is what happens. Fine, fine, take your stupid packages. See if I ever help anyone in this neighborhood again. She dumped the entire bin on my lawn and stormed back to her house. The officer shook his head and started taking photos of everything. Officer, I'm going to need statements from all the affected neighbors. She's being charged with multiple counts of theft and possibly mail tampering if any of these came through us. Over the next few days, the neighborhood group chat exploded. Everyone started comparing stories about missing packages. We found out she'd been doing this for months, possibly longer. She'd even broken into one neighbor's screened porch to take a package that had been left inside. The best part or worst part, depending on how you look at it, was when my neighbor posted footage from her camera. It showed the woman carefully applying her Karen's Protection Program labels to stolen packages while sitting on her own porch, humming to herself like she was doing arts and crafts. The video got shared to a local community Facebook group, then to Twitter, then everywhere. Someone made a remix of her yelling, "I should be getting an award." The comments were ruthless. People photoshopped her face onto Robin Hood. Someone created a fake Yelp page for Karen's Protection Program with 1-star reviews. She tried to defend herself on the neighborhood Facebook group, posting a long rant about how she was trying to create a community safety initiative, and we were all ungrateful. The post got deleted by the moderators within an hour, but not before someone screenshot it. The police didn't buy her protection program story for a second. She was charged with multiple counts of theft. Last I heard, she was facing thousands in restitution payments and community service. She put her house up for sale within a month. Probably couldn't stand being the neighborhood pariah. I got all my packages back eventually, though some of the opened ones were missing items she'd apparently decided to protect permanently. My art supplies were there, at least. The whole thing was surreal. I still can't believe someone thought stealing packages and relabeling them somehow made it not stealing. The doorbell camera was the best $100 I ever spent. Story 4. I work in the human resources department at a mid-sized marketing firm downtown. I've been here for about 6 years now, handling everything from onboarding new employees to mediating workplace disputes. My job requires a lot of patience and the ability to stay neutral, even when dealing with ridiculous situations. And believe me, I've dealt with some ridiculous situations. I actually started in this field because I wanted to help create better work environments. My first job out of college was at a company with terrible management, and I saw how bad HR practices could make everyone miserable. I went back to school, got my certification, and dedicated myself to being the kind of HR professional who actually listens and helps solve problems fairly. Most complaints I handle are pretty standard. Someone feels they're being passed over for promotions. 2 coworkers have a personality clash. Occasional disputes about vacation time or parking spaces. Nothing too dramatic. But last month, I got a complaint that was so absurd, I had to read the email 3 times to make sure I understood it correctly. It was a Tuesday morning when she stormed into my office without knocking. I was in the middle of reviewing benefits paperwork, and she startled me so badly I almost spilled my coffee. Karen, I need to file a formal complaint immediately. Me, good morning. Please have a seat and tell me what's going on. Karen, I am being assaulted every single day in this office. Me, that's a serious accusation. What's happening? Karen, that woman in accounting, the one who sits near the copy room, she is deliberately wearing perfume to attack me. I grab my notepad and try to keep my expression neutral. Me, you're saying a coworker is wearing perfume. Karen, not just wearing it. She's weaponizing it. She knows I have sensitive sinuses, and she's microaggressing me with her scent. It's a hostile work environment. Me, have you spoken to her about this directly? Karen, I shouldn't have to. It's common courtesy not to wear heavy fragrances in an office. She's doing this on purpose to make me suffer. Me, okay? Let me get some details. What's her name? Karen, I don't know her name. The Asian woman in accounting. Me, we have 4 Asian women in accounting. Can you be more specific? Karen, the one with the long hair who always brings lunch from home. I pinched the bridge of my nose. This was going to be a long conversation. Me, I'll need you to point her out to me. But first, can you describe what's been happening? When did this start? Karen, it started 3 weeks ago when she transferred to this floor. Every morning, I can smell her perfume from across the office. It's so strong it gives me headaches. I've had to leave early twice because of it. Me, have you tried using the conference rooms if you need a break from any sense in the office? Karen, why should I have to relocate? She's the one violating office policy. Me, we don't actually have a policy against wearing perfume. Karen, well, you should. This is discrimination against people with sensitivities. I'm being harassed. I told her I would investigate the matter and get back to her. She seemed satisfied with that and left my office, but not before declaring that she expected immediate action. After she left, I went down to the accounting department to identify which coworker she was talking about. It turned out to be a woman named Jenny who'd transferred from our branch office 3 weeks earlier. I introduced myself and asked if we could talk privately. We went to a small conference room, and I explained that there had been a complaint about fragrance in the office. Jenny, a complaint about me wearing perfume. Me, yes. Do you wear perfume to work? Jenny, no, never. I'm actually allergic to most fragrances. I only use unscented products. This was unexpected. Me, you don't wear any perfume at all. Jenny, none. I can't. I break out in hives. I even have to use special laundry detergent. Is someone saying I'm wearing perfume? Me, yes. A coworker claims your perfume is very strong and causing her problems. Jenny looked genuinely confused and a bit worried. Jenny, I promise you, I'm not wearing anything. Could it be my shampoo? But even that's unscented. Me, don't worry. Let me look into this further. If you think of anything that might explain this, let me know. I went back to my office and sent an email to the facilities manager asking if there had been any changes to cleaning products or air fresheners on that floor. Nothing had changed. I also checked if anyone else had complained about fragrances. No other complaints. Something wasn't adding up. I decided to do some informal observation. The next morning, I positioned myself in the break room with a clear view of both the original complainer's cubicle and Jenny's desk in accounting. I pretended to be sorting through some files while keeping an eye on the situation. Karen arrived at 8:30, as usual. Before she even sat down at her desk, she pulled out a small bottle from her purse and sprayed something on her wrists and neck. Then she sprayed it in the air around her cubicle. The scent wafted over to where I was standing. It was unmistakably perfume, and it was strong, floral with a heavy musk base. I waited about 15 minutes, then walked past her cubicle on the way back to my office. Me, good morning. How are you feeling today? Karen, terrible. Can you smell that? She's wearing that awful perfume again. Me, actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. Can you come to my office? She followed me, complaining the entire way about how inconsiderate people were and how her rights were being violated. When we got to my office, I closed the door and asked her to sit down. Me, I've completed my investigation into your complaint. Karen, good. What disciplinary action are you taking against her? Me, none. Because she's not wearing perfume. Karen, that's ridiculous. I can smell it right now. You're not taking this seriously. Me, I am taking it seriously. Which is why I did a thorough investigation. I spoke with Jenny, and she doesn't wear any fragrance products due to allergies. I also observed the office this morning. Karen's face went slightly pale. Me, I saw you spray perfume on yourself and around your cubicle before you even sat down this morning. Karen, that's different. That's just a light body spray. It's not the same as what she's wearing. Me, Jenny isn't wearing anything. The smell you're complaining about is your own perfume. Karen, no, that's impossible. I know what my perfume smells like, and this isn't it. Me, I watched you spray it. I smelled it. It's the same scent you're complaining about. She sat there sputtering for a moment, her face turning red. Karen, well, maybe I am wearing a little bit of fragrance, but that's my right. I'm not wearing it as strongly as she is. Me, she's not wearing any at all. This complaint is without merit, and I'm closing the investigation. Karen, this is unfair. You're taking her side. Me, I'm taking the side of the facts. If you genuinely have sinus sensitivities, I suggest not wearing perfume yourself. This matter is closed. She stormed out of my office, muttering about filing complaints with corporate. I documented everything in detail and sent a summary to my supervisor. Later that afternoon, I stopped by Jenny's desk to let her know the situation was resolved and she had nothing to worry about. Jenny, thank you so much. I was really stressed about this. Me, no problem. That's what I'm here for. The woman who filed the complaint avoided me for about a week. Then one morning, I walked past her cubicle and noticed she wasn't wearing any perfume. The whole area smelled neutral. A coworker from her department stopped by my office later that day. Coworker, I don't know what you said to her, but thank you. Her perfume was giving all of us headaches, but none of us wanted to say anything. Apparently, she'd been dousing herself in perfume every morning, and it had been bothering multiple people on her team. They'd all just been suffering in silence. Sometimes my job involves dealing with legitimate workplace issues, and sometimes it involves explaining to people that they're complaining about themselves. Story 5. I've been working at the vineyard for about 8 months now. After culinary school, I thought I'd end up in some fancy restaurant kitchen, but life had other plans. My student loans were crushing me, and when this sommelier position opened up at a family-owned vineyard 2 hours outside the city, I jumped at it. The pay was decent, the scenery was beautiful, and I got to learn about wine from people who'd been making it for 3 generations. My parents thought I was wasting my degree, but honestly, I loved it. Most days, anyway. It was a Saturday afternoon, and we were hosting one of our premium tasting events. 20 guests, 5 wines, educational presentation about our winemaking process. These events weren't cheap $75 per person, but people paid it because our wines had won actual awards and our head winemaker knew his stuff. I was setting up the tasting room when the group arrived. Most people were couples or friend groups, all excited and ready to learn. Then there was her. She walked in like she owned the place, immediately complaining about the gravel parking lot ruining her shoes and the rustic decor being too farmhouse. I started my welcome presentation, explaining the history of the vineyard and what we'd be tasting. She interrupted within 2 minutes. Is this going to take long? I just want to drink wine, not hear a history lesson. Me, we like to provide context for what you're tasting, but you're welcome to sip while I talk. Finally, something useful. I poured the first wine, a crisp white we were really proud of. Everyone else was swirling, smelling, taking small sips. She grabbed her glass and took a huge gulp like it was water. It's okay. I've had better. Me, this one has notes of green apple and citrus, with a mineral finish from our limestone soil. I know what wine tastes like. I've been to Napa. One of the other guests, an older gentleman, caught my eye and shook his head sympathetically. I continued the tasting, moving through our rosé and then our lighter red. She had complaints about everything. Too fruity, too dry, too something. Other guests were trying to enjoy themselves, but she was loud enough that everyone could hear her commentary. We reached the fourth wine, our estate red blend. This was the wine that had won a gold medal at the state wine competition last year. I was excited to share it. This is one of our most special offerings. We only produce about 300 cases per year, and it's aged for 18 months in French oak barrels. Just pour it already. I poured everyone a taste. Before I could say anything else, she took a sip, made an exaggerated, disgusted face, and spit it back into her glass. Not discreetly like you're supposed to do at tastings, she practically sprayed it. This tastes poor, like bottom-shelf grocery store wine. Are you trying to scam us? The room went silent. Other guests looked horrified. I felt my face get hot. I'm sorry you don't enjoy it, but I can assure you this is a quality wine that... Quality? Quality. I've been to real vineyards. I know wine. My ex-husband was a collector. This is garbage, and you're charging how much for this tasting? $75 per person, which includes... $75 to drink swill? This is a scam. This whole place is a scam. That's when our head winemaker, who'd been in the back room and heard the commotion, walked out. He was in his 60s, had been making wine his entire adult life, and didn't tolerate nonsense. Winemaker, excuse me, is there a problem with the wine? Yes, this red tastes like cheap garbage. I can't believe you're serving this to paying customers. He walked over and looked at her glass, then at the bottle I'd been pouring from. His eyebrows went up. Winemaker, which wine did you find offensive? This one, the red. It tastes poor. He picked up the bottle and showed her the label. Winemaker, this is our reserve Cabernet. We don't typically include it in standard tastings. This bottle retails for $400. The room went dead silent. Her face started changing colors. You're lying. That can't be right. Winemaker, I'm not lying. This is a 2019 vintage that we aged for 30 months. We only made 75 cases. It won double gold at the International Wine Competition. You're drinking one of the finest wines we've ever produced. I was trying to do something special for the group since we had a cancellation in our premium tasting, and I had an extra bottle already opened. The older gentleman who'd been sympathetic earlier started chuckling. Then someone else joined in. Within seconds, the entire room was laughing. Not mean laughter, more like the kind of laughter that comes from witnessing something so absurd you can't help yourself. Well, it still doesn't taste good. Wine is subjective. Woman in back. "Honey, I think your taste buds might be the problem, not the wine." Another guest, "I'll take her portion if she doesn't want it." This is incredible. The winemaker poured fresh glasses for everyone else, pointedly skipping her glass. Winemaker, wine is indeed subjective. However, when you spit out a $400 bottle and call it poor, maybe the issue isn't the wine. Someone started clapping. Then everyone joined in, applauding the winemaker. She stood there, face bright red, looking around for someone to back her up. Nobody did. I don't have to stay here and be insulted." She grabbed her purse and stormed out. Through the window, we watched her struggle across the gravel parking lot she'd complained about earlier, her heels sinking with every step. The older gentleman raised his glass. "Guest, to knowing the difference between poor wine and poor judgment." Everyone toasted. The rest of the tasting was wonderful. People asked questions, actually appreciated what they were drinking, and several bought cases to take home. The winemaker stayed for the rest of the session, telling stories about harvest seasons and vineyard life. After everyone left, my boss pulled me aside. I thought I might be in trouble for giving away an expensive bottle. "Boss, that was the best marketing we could have asked for. 3 people just signed up for our wine club, and someone ordered 10 cases for their restaurant." Apparently, one of the guests had posted about it online, and by the next morning, we were getting calls about the incident. People wanted to come taste the wine that was too poor for that woman. We sold out of that vintage within a week. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting people expose themselves.